What I like about this crate is that it uses fence picket, which is a 1/4 inch thick, so it's a lot thinner than your standard lumber, so it's going to actually look like how a crate is supposed to. If you still want that rough finish, the only other option is going to be a cedar board because one side is unfinished, but that's going to add a lot of cost and bulkiness to your crate. This is just a Stanley miter box with the clamp pegs, which work really well. It's inexpensive and it's a really good option for somebody that doesn't have a circular saw. Then you're just going to line up the planks on the garden stake ends, and for the middle section you're not even going to have to measure it, just kind of eyeball it. It's supposed to be distressed anyway, so it doesn't have to be perfect. Just glue it down, smear it around a little bit, and put the plank on top. And just make sure that if you're using the garden stakes to lay them the same width because they are not square, unlike 3/4 inch dowels. This clamping is only necessary if you're going to be hammering in by hand. It'll just make it easier if you let the glue dry for about 20 minutes. But if you're using a brad nailer, go ahead and nail it in before the glue's dry. Once you have the two long sides done, just take one of the short end planks and clamp it in so you can glue and nail the rest of it together. It's just the same process as making the other parts, just a little bit trickier because you're nailing into the inside. So a brad nailer here really works a lot easier than nailing it by hand. Glue in the last piece of garden stake. If you're nailing by hand, you're going to want to let the glue dry before you try to nail anything in. Otherwise, if you have a brad nailer, just go ahead and nail it right like it is. And then you're just going to glue and nail the bottom planks on. I use 6 nails per board instead of the 4 like I did for the sides, just to add a little bit more support for the bottom. And just like with the sides, don't really worry about the spacing, just make sure the corners are matched up on those, and then place the middle plank wherever it looks best. The stain is actually steel wool and vinegar left for a few weeks, and it's the only stain I use for my projects because it does an awesome job of distressing the wood, and especially after sanding, it looks genuinely aged. And then it's just a matter of sanding everything down to complete the weathered look. Obviously, it's going to be a lot easier with a power sander, and this is the Matrix by Black & Decker. Once it's sanded and dusted off, you're going to drill 2 holes between the brad holes, and these are going to be where your tacks are going to go in. And these are just for decoration to complete the look of an old crate. And using a nail set, you're going to pound the carpet tacks down underneath the surface of the wood to really give it a genuinely aged look. Then just wipe it down one last time and spray it with some matte sealer, and you're good to go.